Disclaimer: the information and education material contained herein is meant to promote the general understanding and dialogue of GANs processing. Such information is not meant or intended to serve as a substitute for a healthcare professional's clinical training, experience, or judgment. For patients and individuals, such information is not to be a substitute for professional medical, therapeutic, or healthcare advice or counseling. For medical issues or concerns, including decisions about medications and other treatments, readers, viewers, listeners should always consult their physician or, in serious cases, seek immediate assistance from emergency personnel. Prescription information, procedures, and use of medical devices information should be undertaken only by properly trained and certified medical personnel. We specifically disclaim any warranties, express or implied, including implied warranties of merchantability or fitness for a particular purpose. Such information is provided, as is, and is believed to be accurate at the time of its publishing, but it is the viewer's job to evaluate the accuracy of any information found in this presentation. Every case presented is of their own experience, applied by themselves for themselves, and it applies to their case only. Every person experiencing health problems should seek professional medical advice and consult their course of treatment with a doctor. The processes of plasma balancing described herein are a natural process which supports the body but does not replace medical advice or therapies one is already subject to.
It's time for change to move into the real work of the universe. And it's time to understand that we use the matter state to reach the level of understanding of the soul of the man. Now you understand maybe why the Creator has sent His messengers in the name of whatever you have had. Is that they bring the ears, that it can be used when the time of the Messiah comes. They can teach the soul and the message, not to oppose, but by them understanding through those who have become messiahs to give from their souls to these to elevate, the job is made easy. The school is there and the students are devotedly there. Then there won't be any fight between what they call the Muslims and the Christians. The lamb and the lion will eat and sleep in the same nest. The Christians and the Muslims will sleep and pray in the mosque and in the same church in the name of their souls, not in the name of religion that is used to create so much conflict for the benefit of those who were the hyperactive children. The time has come, the time of change is here. And as I said, my wish is my command. If it's your wish to see peace, the path of peace is laid very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness by giving will create that position of change. No other thing. There is no pen in the soul of the man. And I'm sure once you go into the universal community, you will never see anything written but the balance of the fields of the soul of the existence. Try to be humble enough not to become arrogant in the power that you have understood and you possess. Otherwise, you'll fall in the same path of the church and the mosque. This is what we promised, And this is what we have delivered. We have to understand the operation of the soul, and we have to understand the soul of the man is a star in the cosmos of the universe. If we compare the soul of the man and many of us, 7 billion in one collection, Earth is like a galaxy with so many stars. When we look in the depth of the universe, we see galaxies with hundreds of millions of stars in it. So is the planet Earth. It carries 7 billion beautiful stars, which are the soul of the man. Carries with it soul of so many trillions of animals, plants, and everything else. So if you look, when someone who does not see the physicality of the Earth and its content, what do they see? They see a galaxy with so many beautiful lights shining, each one according to their strength, each one according to their position. An infant has a beautiful soul, so has the old man. To those who do not see the physical dimension of this planet, but they see the strength of the field, we are clusters of stars. The human race, every single soul, no one from a distance sees that's the soul of a fisherman, that's the soul of the cosmologist, that's the soul of the president. They all shine irrespective of the physicality. This is the magic. This is what the new science has to bring to man. When we look to our soul, we see nothing but a star in the other souls. And this is the break. This is the understanding. This is what all these teachings are about. Coming to mature to the next level, to understand in the deep space, the universe is the oyster for those souls who serve. Then man is ready to go into space. Then man is ready to become part of the universal community which has been promised. I never promised you heaven. I always promised you the elevation of the man to join the family. And now you have the key. It's you who has to open the door to understand, if I can raise the soul of these people or millions of other souls, that the physical life on this planet changes, then I'm worthy to be part of the universal community. To be there to serve, to expand, to be there, to be part, that in the cycle of life of universe, I become, in being part, I become part of the totality. When man reaches that point, a new dimension in the strength of the soul of the man will appear, which is beyond imagination of understanding of the physical life. It's the gate to the opening of the new life, in a new dimension, which is beyond imagination of what you might call a new beginning, a new cycle, which that cycle carries with itself the origin of the creation of life in the universe and in the universe. It's the elevation of the soul to serve become the key, not a throne of the physical life. The time is right. The time has come for the man to go through this process.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 328th One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace. Here on Tuesday, May 28th, 2024. This is a broadcast of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Education Department and part of the public teachings in English. My name is Rick Crammond, and I'll be host once again in this weekly series of workshops. It's been ongoing for quite a few years now. And once again, we have the honor to be welcoming the members of the Universal Council and support members who are presenting today's show. So without further ado, let's get the presentation ready and see what they have in store for us. Thank you. Go ahead, please, Universal Council members.
Yes. Thank you, Rick. And hey, all dear souls who are in, on, and beyond our beautiful spaceship Earth. It's Checo, the Universal Council member, representative of the Dutch language. And we send you all a warm welcome. Today we have another sharing of knowledge Mr. Keshe is teaching us. And Universal Council members and supporters' intention is to share it freely with you. And equal if it's knowledge from the past, from today, or even from the future. We don't judge about what is wrong. We add one to the other. And in the end, we return to the knowledge of the soul. Souls have no restriction of time in the soul dimension. In physicality, we have all these restrictions connected to what we call time. We wish you all to have a wonderful time in the One Planet, One Nation, One Race for world peace and justice today. Please allow your souls to guide and support you. And when you feel so, start sharing and spreading the knowledge. It's the exchange of the knowledge that gives us the chance to understand more, and by that, to teach more. So again, a warm welcome to all of you. We can go to the next slide, Rick.
Hello, everyone. Andrea is speaking, a support member of the German community. And now we read the wishes from the Universal Council, and we invite everyone to immerse in this powerful energy. We, the Universal Council, wish that mankind not accept no path except the path of his own soul to his creator. Our wish is our command.
We are present.
We, the Universal Council, wish that man believe in one creator for all men.
We are present.
We, the Universal Council, wish the all souls remember the knowledge of totality for the elevation of the soul of all beings and join the universal community.
We are present.
Good morning. That is so connection and invite you to unify your soul. Por favor, tomamos una posición confortable. Respiramos por la nariz y exhalamos por la nariz, sosteniendo y uniendo de nuestra toda con la comunidad universal, nuestra alma. Gracias, mi alma divina, por todo el amor que de ti recibo. Gracias, mi alma maravillosa, por el amor que me das. Te amo y amo a través de ti. Te pido permiso para unirnos con nuestras almas. Pido permiso a las almas de los seres en la tierra y en el universo y el único para unirnos como una sola alma, como el alma de la paz. Pido permiso a todas las almas cerca, en mi ambiente, en mi espacio, para que se unan como una sola alma, como un solo ser, para que juntos elevemos nuestras almas. Pedimos permiso a todos y cada uno de los líderes mundiales, a todos y cada uno de los líderes que influencian cualquier tipo de comunidad, todo tipo de comunidad, para que elevemos nuestras almas, elevemos el alma del mensaje, para que nuestro comportamiento, todo el comportamiento esté de acuerdo con el ethos de Mitra, pensar, hablar y hacer el bien. Todos nos unamos a esta alma de la paz para elevar nuestras almas. Regresamos lentamente. Agradecemos a todas y cada una de esas almas, esas energías fundamentales. Formar parte del alma de la paz. Thank you so much because we are the soul of the peace. Thank you, thank you. Next slide, please.
And if you enjoyed the process we just completed, we invite you to join us on a daily basis at 9 p.m. Central European Time for the elevation of all souls. The Universal Council invites the Keshe family and the Universal Council family in unifying at the soul level every day at 9 p.m. CEST, Central European Summertime, for the elevation of all souls and the protection of the physicality in the universe. And Mr. Keshe was asked one time about him doing magic. And this is, in a way, the time we can use our magical powers. But of course, he said, I don't do magic. He said, my knowledge is my magic. And if you understand it, you become magician too. So this is where we're learning about the power of the soul collectively. And you can join us in this process. You know, oftentimes we hear too many cooks in the kitchen actually spoil the soup. But in this process, the more cooks we have in the kitchen, the more fields we're spreading, and combination of fields and spectrum of fields to reach world leaders, to reach religious leaders, to create that dome of peace. We'd never be able to do it in the physicality, and I tried for a number of years with lobbying and talking to congressmen and senators or their staff and others. But we know through the matter state it's quite difficult to reach this. As Mr. Keshe said, if it's your wish to see peace, path of peace is made very clearly. It's the soul of the collective awareness. By giving will create that position of change, and that's what we heard. So working through the matter state is quite difficult, takes a lot of work, and usually you get blocked. But working this way, through the souls, collectively, we can bring our energies together. And again, by our wish, as we just heard these wishes that were read, we are establishing peace through our wish. So we're asking you to join us in this process. And again, it's not a short-term project. This is going to be a longer-term project. Of course, it could be shorter, but all the souls have to agree to it. But it's our work and our understanding to bring the change through the dimension of energies. And the Universal Council is learning this as well. And we see the solution will manifest in the matter state. And of course, there's a lot of things going on in the background. So you're not only learning about your own reactors in so many ways, but you're learning how to bring a change not in the dimension of matter state, but in the dimension of energies. And of course, this is also being applied to the transmutation process as well, where we use our energies. Now, originally, we started out by releasing GAN's waters, and you can join us in that as well on Sunday at 12 noon or 6 p.m. CEST or CET. You can create a GANs and release the waters, and it's something for the physicality to do. Then Mr. Keshe gave us a new path of using our souls collectively to bring the change. So it's a two-pronged endeavor in so many ways, where you can release GAN's waters at any time, but collectively we do it on Sunday. And of course, collectively you can meet on the soul level and bring the change. There's no Zoom room, there's no Telegram, there's no website. We just, at the 9 p.m. CET hour, if you recall, or ask your soul to recall it for you, or ask your soul to work in that dimension if you've forgotten, to bring this change. And together we're much stronger, and touching these souls or elevating these souls. We're not elevating men, we're elevating souls. And this is the process we're going through, and not to be too wordy about the whole thing, but if it's been your wish to see peace, this is the path of bringing it. So it's a two-step process, releasing Gans water, something for your physicality to do. And then the second step is starting to use your soul and creating the change. And this will leave you in a position that you can be proud of the work you do, you can be proud of the person you are, and you can be proud of the difference you make. So again, we invite you to join us. Again, it may seem silly, it may seem, how can I change anything or build anything without matter state? But as we know, when we go to the moon, or China is about to go to the moon, we're not going to be taking many materials with us in the Keshe Foundation track of understanding, but we're going to build walls out of fields. And so this is part of this whole understanding of how we can use energies or emotions, which is energy in motion, to create something that manifests in the matter state. And again, it's a deeper understanding of our true selves, and that we are made in the image of the Creator. So join us as early and as often as you like. And as we've heard from the request from Mr. Keshe, you don't have to do it once a day or once a time. You can scale it up to be doing it all the time. So we invite you to join us in this process. You don't have to pay any money. You don't have to give any money. You don't have to work in the physicality, and you can be multitasking as well when you enter into this process, if perhaps you're driving or working or collectively. And again, the amount of time you'd like to stay there is all up to you. But it's becoming well understood within some of the members of the Keshe Foundation that we can bring the change through energies, and it's much easier, much quicker than working in the matter state. So thank you for listening, and I think we can go to the next slide unless someone else has something about this process they'd like to add.
Thank you, Mark. My thoughts and what I've learned from the teachings in the Knowledge Seeker workshops of Mr. Keshe. Servitude is the essence of the soul. Serving, not taking as much as possible. These words have such a deep impact on the change of our behavior as soon as we understand them in totality. The essence through the servitude and peace elevates the collective soul of planet Earth. And this, in return, radiates across the unicos. Dear souls, this is a huge thing we're working on at the moment. Do we realize this in our daily consciousness? Do we feel it in our soul, emotion, field strength? Is our focus wide enough to include all what happens at the moment on planet Earth? Or are we still lost in certain details of diversion and stay stuck in there? Mr. Keshe is teaching us through our souls, according to our own soul field strength and position. Maybe some think, well, what can I do in this enormous process of change? I'm just a little wheel in a clock of time that doesn't exist. On soul level, that's true. The balancing act brings us a lot of questions and doubts to many of us walking this path. On the other hand, after all we learned in the past months and years, we should realize what is written in the structure of the Universal Council. Our message is very simple. The man himself is part of the Creator, and this is the eventual understanding of the teachings. When you are part of total, you are the total. You carry all the essence of it. It's you who decide to what limit you want the essence to manifest itself. When you stand and look at totality, you have to be impartial to every aspect, be it the way you've been brought up, the way you were educated, because being impartial, just look at everything else. You don't need to defend position. And not defending a position, you don't spend energy, but you add to the energy because from what you learn. Knowledge, if you ever understood, is sharing part of the soul of the man who gave you the knowledge. Now my question, do you want to know this knowledge of the man who gave you the knowledge? Then don't hesitate and ask. Ask through the emotion of the soul. And if it's given, it is your right. Now what if it's not given? Maybe you should ask yourself why. Was it really according to my honest soul position field strength? Maybe far away in the fields of consciousness, it was to satisfy my own ego. Or maybe it was to become better than others. How many times we compare our own situation, our own belongings, to what belongs to the other ones? Can we be happy for those who have what we can't have, even if we think is our right? This is where the real unconditional love starts. Those who had this situation, for example, in a relationship, know what I mean. What is very sure, as long as it is to the benefit of all, can be wrong. When we walk the path of transmutation, our perception changes, slowly, but constantly. People will notice something has changed. How beautiful it will be if these new, or say old techniques, will be common again for all of us. Many barriers will disappear, and many opportunities will rise instead. Honor what you achieved. Work on what we can do in this moment, and see forward to the times to come, together as one. Now this part is from Mr. Keshe. Energy packs can engage another. The interconnection of the soul of physicality and the soul of the man allows one to embed it inside the other. Gravitational fields and magnetical fields, soul and soul of physicality, in their interaction create mass, create physicality. With the capability that one can change position with the other, through an interconnection, through an interline power level, what we call common denominator, they can switch from one to another. This switch will decide in interaction with the environment how you manifest yourself at point and place. You switch the fields to the dimension of physicality. What do we have? We are going to have an amazing condition where what we call the dimension of the interaction, dimension position, and the position of the fields can create a different dimension of physicality of the man in the same environment. So, what hair color do you wear today? Thank you, Mr. Keshe, for all this deep knowledge, giving it back to us who forgot for so many generations. I think we as one in the unconditional love of our Creator. Thank you. Next slide, please.
Hello to everyone. Here's Andreas, Universal Council support member from the German-speaking community. And I will speak today about a meeting with my twin soul, what happened yesterday. And it was beyond all my imagination and what I have understood up to now. I heard the term twin soul years ago, and different people were talking about, and it was like a chit chat for me, a nice talk. And I met then a knowledge seeker, or learned to know a knowledge seeker in meetings. I heard her when she was talking about ganses and about, I understood her sincerity, how she talks about it and how she uses it 5, 6, 7 years ago. But I never got in touch with her. And 2 years ago, we made a donation campaign in the German-speaking community for people who want to go to Linz in the flight system, but cannot afford it. And I paid it myself, but I was there and she was there too. We haven't known each other, and we had been together in the system. We came out and I was not able to check it, what happened there. But since then, we had more and more contact with each other. We also met us one time personally, and we meet us as friends, and we speak about everything about our lives. And also we have done a lot of soul connections together, alone and with all the souls. And we trained, for example, also to transmute to each other, because we are living on different places on the world. And so there was every time a common denominator or something which holded us together. We have also been in Sanya, and there she asked Mr. Keshe a question, and I don't know how the question was exactly, but Mr. Keshe said, yes, we are twin souls. And I can remember how Mr. Keshe was looking at us and smiling. He had a big smile in his face, and he looked at me and to her, sitting next to each other. And yeah, I had also a smile, but I could not imagine what that means. And last week in a Knowledge Seekers workshop, Mr. Keshe then, I was translating it live, said then 2, 3 sentences about the twin soul. And I understood it, but I said, what? what? I have to read that afterwards again and again. I want to understand it. And yeah, he said, and this is where, as knowledge seekers, you have to start understanding this, that, as I always said, by controlling the emotion, you will create, manifest, transmute, transfer, and everything within yourself. And if you go to another step to understanding, to find the matching fields of your emotions with another soul, we call it twin souls, then you don't need to talk because you live one life in totality. You become like a molecule, then two individual atoms. And then life is a different meaning. And then we had 2 weeks no contact. We needed somehow to live our own life. And we were searching. And then 2 days ago, we met and said, okay, tomorrow we make a soul connection. And yesterday we met then and we made a soul connection. And the question for me was what I also spoke out was I would like to know what it means that you are my twin soul. And then we agreed, we made a soul connection where we include all humans, all plants, all animals, all beings, the universal community, and all what we have learned from Mr. Keshe. And she said then, yes, we connect and elevate all existing souls. And this was somehow the path we decided to go. And behind the question, what does it mean be a twin soul? So we started with the soul connection, and I, for myself, the first section was to detach myself from everything. It's like to detach from the things which had been yesterday or which have to be done in a few hours or tomorrow, or detach from every emotion, negative emotion. And this cleaning up in myself went very well because it was very sincere for me. I wanted to know now, after a long time, what does it mean to be a twin soul? And then I saw her and I know attachments of her, and I helped her. I gave her everything, the soul, to detach. And it was 1 hour long, but I cannot remember it exactly. But then somehow came the point where I saw her absolute pure intention. And this was everything what we learned. And the target was to give everything and the best for the whole creation. Nothing else matters. That's why the detachment was important, because the new creation should not include attachments to something. It should be clean and everyone should receive what is needed and only the best out of it. because only then it can be good. And I saw her intention, and it was more than only an intention. It was her will and the responsibility of being a creator. And I gave everything to her, but also the opposite way. And I did all what I have understood. And also it's the pure intention to serve and giving the love for the whole creation. And I got also so humble from her because she showed me the capacity of her being a creator. There was just a pure intention, and it was so beautiful and glory. And after the time, there was nothing here anymore. There was just, we have to make our creation. I understood what our purpose is. And she understood it too. And then there was a point where suddenly it started that everything was in a way light blue as a base, but there was a center where it started to lightning more and more, and suddenly everything was light, white, goldish, maybe a little bit silver. And this stood, it don't went away. And at this point, it was done. It was complete. The creation was complete. It was a universal cosmos. And I wrote then to a other knowledge seeker what we also to her, what was the direct answer, what I have experienced. I wrote it and I read it again. I wrote to a other knowledge seeker. It was so overwhelming, gigantic, and she wrote to me, was it like this and that? And yes, it was, but I wrote at this time, I don't know, the tears just run down my face. We became one and a huge creation. At some point, everything was light blue, white, gold, silver, with all our intention and love for everything created, and I could understand it. It remained there. It was complete. Nothing else was there anymore. She didn't realize it like I did, but she was there. I understood her soul, her creation, and we merged as creators because we love each other so much for being creators. It has nothing to do with physicality, because her soul showed itself to me, her intention for everything created, and her clarity and capacity. In front of that, I became humble and gave everything to support her, and she did the same with me. We became one because we love each other so much for being creators. Her soul showed me everything And that was gigantic and beautiful. Intention is the creator. And we all have such a creator within us. The creation is the intention of the creator. For me, that was very much since yesterday. I still cry today when I go back, and also to understand it in physicality. Even maybe it's not necessary, because it is what it is. And I ask myself, yeah, what will come next? I don't know, but for sure there will come something else. Thank you very much, and also to my twin soul. Thank you.
Thank you, Andreas. Next, we have our presentation with Marie and Claudia. Let me just prepare that. And now we'll begin.
And then we are on the third question. How to bring up and resolve a feeling that seems to come from the depths of the soul, like the feeling of forgiveness. Is it a universal or personal forgiveness?
Então vamos para a terceira pergunta. Como trazer à tona e resolver um sentimento que parece vir do fundo da alma como o sentimento de perdão? É um perdão universal ou pessoal?
The first answer, by working on your own conduct and following the ethos of Mitra, think good, speak good, and act good, applying the commandments into your life, and working on the understanding of the knowledge of the universe, brings you into a state of inner peace and bliss. Then you understand we are all one and part of the totality.
Então a primeira resposta é: trabalhando em sua própria conduta e seguindo o ethos de Mitra, pensar o bem, falar o bem e fazer o bem. Aplicar os mandamentos em sua vida e trabalhar para compreender o conhecimento do universo o leva a um estado de paz interior e bem-aventurança. Então você entende que somos todos um e parte da totalidade.
Then we have another answer. It's so important to understand why we should follow the ethos of Mitra. It's not for others to see how good we are. It's for us to walk that humble path of forgiveness. We block ourselves by struggling and fighting our rights and other one's wrongs. Be honest with yourself, and that starts with knowing that all souls are equal. No one is higher and no one is lower. We all come from the same creator ray. So what are we fighting for? Feel the liberating, unconditional love of the creator in creation. Then you understand forgiveness.
É muito importante entender por que devemos seguir o ethos de Mitra. Não é para que os outros vejam como somos bons, é para nós trilharmos o humilde caminho do perdão. Nós nos bloqueamos quando lutamos e combatemos pelos nossos acertos e os erros dos outros. Seja honesto consigo mesmo, e isso começa com o conhecimento de que todas as almas são iguais. Ninguém é superior e ninguém é inferior. Todos nós viemos do mesmo raio do Criador. Então, pelo que estamos lutando? Sinta o incondicional e libertador alma do Criador na criação. Então você entenderá o perdão.
And there is another answer. Everything we do has an impact on others because we are like specks of dust in the universe, and we are part of an energy that unites us. We are all the same, and suddenly, because we do not have the same knowledge, we make mistakes out of ignorance, because we do not know the ethics of the Creator and the commandments that are important to understand how life works. It's not our job to judge anyone, but to help for the elevation of each one. If we freely give our souls so that each being, that energy that is the soul, is unified with that of the other, and thus each one takes what he needs. It is a very good way for the other to also raise the energy range of their soul and helps to understand them. So, in that sense, we can also speak of a collective forgiveness more than universal.
Então, tudo o que fazemos tem um impacto sobre os outros, porque somos como partículas de poeira no universo e fazemos parte de uma energia que nos une. Somos todos iguais e, de repente, por não termos o mesmo conhecimento, cometemos erros por ignorância, porque não conhecemos a ética do Criador e os mandamentos que são importantes para entender como a vida funciona. Não é nossa função julgar ninguém, mas ajudar na elevação de cada um. Se doarmos livremente nossas almas para que cada ser, essa energia que é a alma, seja unificada com a do outro, e assim cada um pega o que precisa. Essa é uma maneira muito boa do outro também elevar a faixa de energia de sua alma e ajuda a compreendê-lo. Portanto, nesse sentido, também não podemos falar de um perdão coletivo, mas do universal.
So then we are on the fourth question. Since Christianity seems to be a suggestion of an ethos for human beings, and yet, according to the Bible, there will be a harvest of a few meek who will inherit paradise. What strategy will Keshe Foundation use to convince human beings to live the right ethos that provides and corroborates collective peace?
Então vamos para a quarta pergunta. Uma vez que parece que o cristianismo ser uma sugestão do ethos e ao ser humano, e assim, segundo a Bíblia diz, haverá a colheita de alguns mansos que herdarão o paraíso. Que estratégia usará a Fundação Keshe para que os seres humanos sejam convencidos em vivenciar o ethos adequado que proporcione e corrobore para a paz coletiva?
And the first answer: sacred books are written for the purpose of directing or controlling the lives of some beings. Mr. Keshe invites us to rely on history to find the truth of what happened in those communities described in those books and to understand the truth about it. Knowledge gives you freedom because you have the knowledge and know what is right in the ethics of the Creator, under which you must live, because we are individual beings. If we normalize in our daily lives to think, speak, and do good to all beings, this implies that we affect, positively or not, the life of each being collectively. The Foundation's strategy is to transfer knowledge. In fact, that knowledge is within us. We have just ignored it, and to create new technologies, systems to facilitate the lives of all beings on Earth, and so that we can live in space. Provide equality to all beings so that no one else is superior for remaining financially longer, because we have the same access and the same right to these new technologies, helping to find balance as part of the peace strategy. It is a moment of transition for us, and it's also for the new generations. It depends on us, on the desire that our soul has. Thank you for volunteering and donating your work and giving in solidarity to each being.
Então vamos para a primeira resposta. Os livros sagrados são escritos com o propósito de direcionar ou controlar a vida de alguns seres. O Sr. Keshe nos convida a contar com a história para descobrir a verdade sobre o que aconteceu nas comunidades descritas nesses livros e para entender a verdade sobre isso. O conhecimento lhe dá a liberdade, porque você tem o conhecimento e sabe o que é certo na ética do Criador, sob qual você deve viver, porque somos seres individuais. Se normalizarmos em nossa vida diária pensar, falar e fazer o bem a todos os seres, isso implica que afetamos positivamente ou não a vida de cada ser coletivamente. A estratégia da Fundação é transferir conhecimento. Na verdade, esse conhecimento está dentro de nós, apesar de o ignorarmos, e criar novas tecnologias, sistemas para facilitar a vida de todos os seres na Terra e para que possamos viver no espaço. Proporcionar igualdade a todos os seres para que ninguém mais seja superior por ser mais longevo financeiramente, porque temos o mesmo acesso e o mesmo direito, e essas novas tecnologias, ajudando a encontrar o equilíbrio como parte da estratégia de paz. É um momento de transição para nós e também para as novas gerações. Depende de nós, do desejo que de nossa alma tem. Obrigado por se voluntariar, doar o seu trabalho e doar em solidariedade a cada ser.
And there is another answer. With the knowledge of the Creator as taught by Mr. Keshe, we know now that all living souls are the children of the Creator. It's for us knowledge seekers to spread the knowledge, to apply it into our lives, and to share the knowledge with others. Parts of the Bible are according to the knowledge of the Creator, like the 10 Commandments, but parts are man-made, used to gain power over others. We gained so much knowledge from Mr. Keshe, like the definition of heaven. Heaven is everywhere if you have peace within. Peace is balance in the fields between your soul of the man and the soul of physicality. Mr. Keshe said, humanity will accept this knowledge in the fear of its own existence. The plasma technology and the knowledge of the Creator will guide humanity towards peace and make us men of space. There is no other way.
Então, com o conhecimento do Criador, conforme ensinado pelo Sr. Keshe, sabemos agora que todas as almas vivas são filhas do Criador. Cabe a nós, buscadores de conhecimento, disseminar esse conhecimento, aplicá-lo em nossa vida e compartilhar o conhecimento com os outros. Algumas partes da Bíblia estão de acordo com o conhecimento do Criador, como os 10 mandamentos, mas outras partes são criadas pelo homem, usadas para obter poder sobre os outros. Adquirimos muito conhecimento do Sr. Keshe, como a definição de céu. O céu está em toda parte, se você tiver paz dentro de si. A paz é o equilíbrio dos campos. Então, entre a sua alma do homem e a alma da fisicalidade. O Sr. Keshe disse, a humanidade aceitará esse conhecimento por medo de sua própria existência. A tecnologia do plasma e o conhecimento do Criador guiarão a humanidade em direção à paz e nos tornarão homens do espaço. Não há outro caminho.
And there is another answer. Understand that the souls don't have a time. If you look at it from the point of eternity, it's up to every single one of us to understand our own path, our own responsibility, our own choices we make of how we walk it. We didn't walk that ethos path for many thousands of years. And if you look back, you see what we missed. Feel the ethos of Mitra, and you know which way we should go. If we go it together, we change our environment and make this spaceship a peaceful planet again. Paradise is where your soul and the soul of physicality are in line. Accommodate each other and become one. The ethos is the shortest path to reach that goal. Thank we as one.
Entenda que as almas não têm um espaço. Se você olhar para isso do ponto de vista da eternidade, cabe a cada um de nós entender nosso próprio caminho, nossa própria responsabilidade, nossas próprias escolhas de como percorrê-lo. Não percorremos esse caminho do ethos por muitos milhares de anos, e se olharmos para trás, veremos o que perdemos. Sinta o ethos de Mitra e você saberá o caminho que devemos seguir. Se seguirmos juntos, mudaremos nosso ambiente e faremos dessa nave espacial um planeta pacífico novamente. O paraíso é quando sua alma e a alma da fisicalidade estão alinhadas. Acomodem-se uns aos outros e tornam-se um só. O ethos é o caminho mais curto para atingir essa meta. Agradecemos como um só.
So that was the answers from the Universal Council today. And I thank everyone who contributed. Thank you.
Então, essas foram as respostas dos membros do Conselho Universal e ela agradece a todos que contribuíram. Thank you, Marie, again, to be here.
Thank you for
to share this
letting me be here. And to
Okay, that completes that excerpt from Claudia and Marie. Next, we have an excerpt from the 539th Knowledge Seekers Workshop of last Thursday, May 23rd. And that begins at about 28 minutes into it. Okay, I'll play that now.
Is the finger of me. And this is your soul in the middle. And this is your body in two halves, left and right. The neural system, if I find the colors, God help me there, yeah. The neural system in the brain operates in some positions. And these neural systems on the left side of the body of the man controls the right side, and vice versa, the right side to the left side. The connection through the nerve system is a matter state, which is symmetric, comes from symmetry of the body of the man. But this connections here through everything else goes to every nerve, every system of the body of the man. We show different colors for different sides, and we see what happens. But this is a physical connection. And the magic with the creation is the emotion has no neural connection, is a field, is an interaction of the soul of the man and the soul of physicality, which comes through the blood. So it has, in reality, no physical connection with the left side. It creates a field on the, what we call the right side of the body of the man, which is here and here. The neural system, the physical part of the man, creates the somatic connection with symmetry of the body of the man from the left side of the brain to the right body of the man. But the fields of the emotion are as fields. They have no physical, some of it might go through the neural system, but they create the dimension of the motion in interaction with the neural system current, and what we call the blood circulation current lead to the creation of the man physical dimension. So we create our physicality from interaction of the fields of the emotion, which has no physical connection, but it's a field which itself is connected to the cosmic rays as part of the process of the existence of the what we call the body of the man. And this is where man, world of science, have not understood this. And this is where this psychosomatic comes, where this is where as scientists, as doctors and the rest of it are in dilemma. They talk about, but they don't understand that in fact the physicality of the man controls through the neural system, but the emotion of the man comes from the fields which has no connection. This is why when I touch you, you're angry, automatically every piece of body feels when you're touching something you like. When we taste the water, because we touch these fields, does not need any neural system confirmation. Instantaneous. This is why when you're thirsty, the minute you touch that water, the taste goes, the tongue, the thirst of the water goes, because you don't touch the nerve, the system to get water everywhere. You transfer the energy of the water through these fields to every cell of the body of the man. But
The only biggest difference is that by accident, by conversion of the system, these two are connected to each other. These two have what I call affinity of connection with each other. And what happens? You have the fields that emotion transfers to the other side, and the fields of emotion directly, automatically you touch and you feel. And this emotion, when this, what we call the inner circle, I put it as a green, that makes it much easier. If this inner circle between the two sides of the brain of the man are not in balance, when the fields are created on the right side, which comes from the information energy from the left side, don't match, you end up with what we call every other disease that the man might call a cancer, depression, and everything else. So you as knowledge seekers have to understand, when you come to point of the transmutation, you have to consider how your emotion brings you back to dimension of physicality, because the interaction of the totality of this field itself in interaction with the field of its environment lead to the manifestation of your physical life, which is your head and your body. Then we even understand why we have different features, we gain different structure in the womb of the mother, because the soul of the man created in the center, interaction with the field of the environment of the mother, decides the shape of the body of the child. The manifestation, the structure of the soul, the structure of the what we call physicality of the brain and the soul of physicality. You torture the mother, you in the pregnancy, you change that field. And you don't end up with such a perfect soul, you don't end up with such a perfect body, because that emotion of the hurt to the mother transfers to the emotion of the child, in the, as we call it, cosmic rays of the fields of the mother to the child, and you get default in the child, you get all sorts of problems after the child is born, because you touch this energy soul system. And this is why the children of Mitra, the children to be born understanding the work of the cosmic rays, directly at the point of birth connect to the universal community energies, which is pure and balanced, which means the emotion and physicality of the mother cannot touch. Child is a child of the emotion of the universe, not the child of the abuse of the father with the mother during the pregnancy, or the love of the father to the child. Then we understand, you as knowledge seekers, how you have to understand to control your manifestation in position of transmutation connected to the fields of the universe and to emotion of the what we call dimension of interaction of the fields of the physicality of the man with his environment. In so many ways, as we progress, as we come to understand more about our own life, we find out we are actually nothing but connected to the universal community, with not knowing how, in the position of the physicality of the man, as a brain of the man, and the physical body of the man, where, in fact, our souls and the interaction of the field of the emotion and connection between the two leads as a field matter in a way to the dimension of the neurosystem of the man, which leads to the manifestation of the man and everything else which goes within the man. Where neurosystem brings in the manifestation of the connection of physicality, And the emotion brings the field dimension, which allows that manifestation of the matter state to manifest itself in a Ganser state, not in the matter state, the physicality of the man. And then it comes the interaction of the field of the environment, which is the womb of the mother. Because the egg came from this mother, so it has direct connection with. But when you bring in the child from the soul of the mother and the soul of the father, in that way, the child born to this emotion has no interaction as such with the environment, because it comes from the soul of the universe. It comes through carbon-14. It comes through the connection of the manifestation of the existence. If we understand this will revolutionize the world of the medicine of today. And this will change everything as we know. And secondly, further on, this will change the position of the transmutation for every one of you to know how to connect your emotion with the emotion of the soul and the dimension of point of manifestation. When you manifest yourself on the moon, then you decide, I want physicality through the emotion of the joy of the physicality you had on earth. You'll find you'll manifest yourself through that joy of emotion. You create a field that, with the interaction of the field of the moon, will lead to manifestation of you as a new creature which can survive on the moon in different shape and color. As I said, you don't want to go to the moon and live in a monkey suit. What a waste of time. Having the freedom of this planet to be caged in the cloth of a monkey. We haven't conquered. We'll never conquer the space if we rely on a manifestation of the monkey suit of the man. What happens when you land on a planet and the essence of the strength of the field of the cloth you wear to protect yourself as a monkey suit is in parallel and equal as the field of the environment. The clothes goes, what's going to happen to the physicality of the man? You die. Unless you manifest, you bring the change in the expansion of the soul of the man through connection with the universal rays and fields to manifest yourself in the time, place, and position. Maybe the creatures from another position in the universe on this planet are green and blue and 4 legs. And the man who came from the space of the atmosphere of the earth in this environment have 6 eyes and 2 legs. And when they cross each other, say, oh, this is from Earth, it's got 2 eyes, and 4 arms or 6 legs, and these are from another planet. We recognize ourselves the way we call you Chinese, you're Indian, or whatever, by the shape of manifestation of our soul with the environment of the manifestation where we come from. Then you know the citizens of the earth who are on that planet. And then we become the true man of space. We actually join the universal community and not in the space and time which we have imprisoned ourselves to this planet. Now you understand how the extension of how you as knowledge seekers will come to, in a way, exist and manifest yourself in the space, in transmutation. In one room, you create a magnetic field of the having your blue eyes and green hair. In the room next door, you create a condition of having green eyes and blue skin. You go from one room to another and you manifest yourself as a different creature. But the wife knows because, oh, this is the guy. I know him. He was in the other room and this is the way it is. So if we realize the fundamental, the principle about the world of creation, where and the reason why we have to split part of our brain with the emotions in two separate parts of the brain, each one individually mapped out. And then now we understand that the emotion creates the field, and the physicality neurosystem brings in the somatic side. Then you understand how illnesses are created, how transmutation has to be done, how we're changing the emotion in the right way, balancing between the two halves of the brain. We can change our height, we can change the color of our hair, we can do whatever we need. And this is part of the process of what we're going through in the teachings on a monthly basis.
Okay, thank you. That was our excerpt from the 539th Knowledge Seekers Workshop, the last one that was broadcast. So let me get back to my presentation here. Which is, there we are. Okay, next we have a reading.
Thank you, Rick. Yes, we have the excerpt of the 539th Knowledge Seekers Workshop. In listening to the intro and understanding that what we actually be done through the knowledge we gain, there's another dynamic condition in the world of the man, which is within the man, and it's part of the structure of the living man, which in the way the world of science has, as usual, we say, never understood, never acted upon, and at the same time, what we call humanity has never grasped the totality of the understanding of this principle of life. In the world of medicine, the world of science, with the body of the man, we have come up with different names for it. But this is part of the connection of the physicality of the body of the man to cosmic rays, to essence of the foundation of the reality, the creation of the man. Now, what does this mean? In a way, we say we tap into by taking some food as a seed to absorb energies for the physical dimension through what we call environmental energies, cosmic rays, earth rays, and the rest. But the soul of the man for the central energy of the man and the body which is embedded in it, in the center of it, the work of the physicality comes to be in a different way which man has not understood. Man has never understood the reality about his own creation, how he is created, how he uses the cosmic rays in the dimension of the soul of the man. Through the conversion with the soul of the physicality, which we call the emotion, to lead to the creation of the man, reaction, interaction of the man with his environment. In the world of medicine, we call it psychosomatic, psychological, and the physical, where the two comes from and where one leads to the problem or creation of the other. But the world of science has never understood to explain this. Because if you as knowledge seekers understand this, you have broken through the position to be able to be part of the universal community. Interact with the emotion of of the universal community. Interact with the emotion of the physicality of the man yourself, in how manifest yourself, in how to actually come to, in a way be manifested, create within you. As I said to one of the knowledge seekers in one of the recent talks, that God says, I made man in the image of myself. But in a way, we create our children in the image of ourselves. And we see how we suffer from the hand, or take joy from the hand, or conduct of our children. We are the creators of these children. And in that process, we become the creator. And we made our children in the image of ourselves, which means we suffer with them, with their misconducts, and joy with them in their success. So it's the same with the Creator. He suffers with man, with his conduct, and enjoys the rejoices. When the man achieves understanding, the process of the creation within himself. And this is where we need to understand how our emotions are connected to the Creator. And what does it lead to? Why do we get a cancer? How each organ and the cell is built to be. How we manifest ourselves in different shapes and forms through our emotion. Thank you.
We get angry. We get angry. We change our face. We get joyful. We laugh with the sound. And then, how come emotion can show itself in a burst, but that emotion which forced in the hidden, in the background, in the structure of the brain of the man, doesn't or has no effect on the physicality of the man. But we call it psychosomatic. But part of the energy which psychologically we absorb from the brain, psychologically we absorb from the universe is through carbon, through cosmic rays, through cosmic rays. So we see that cosmic rays have a different effect in the interaction of our emotion, in the structure of our body, to the emotion of the soul, to the emotion of the soul of the planet physicality. But what the scientists have not understood, what our people talk about, but they have no essence of understanding, is when and how does the process of psychosomatic work. Psychologically, the emotion will bring us to that point, but where what we call the physical dimension comes into it? Cosmic rays allows one to transmute in the universe. It is the same in the cosmos, or does one have to change the strength of the soul too? Okay, it's just different strength, which takes you to different places. In the physical life, we say how much in the physical life we say how much fuel you got in your tank. Decide sorry. Okay, thank you. Decides how far you can go. We gather that strength during the cycle of life, through the absorption, through our conduct, through our life in our soul, which decides where and how we go, and we land as a final destination as a soul. But in the time of transmutation, we use a different approach. We decide the sharing, the strength of which car we take for a drive. We are going in a racing car to go fast, or we go in a normal car, we go on a bicycle, just let's pedal a little bit. We don't need to go that fast, but that's all becomes on the decision of the interaction of the emotion and the soul of the man. which strength you want to bear. If you choose and you understand the totality of the creation and you know that strength sits the strength of the creator, instantly you can reach the soul of the creator. And some of you will fiddle for millions of years and still haven't got even the starting point. So the strength which you have a choice to choose gives you that dimension. In Christianity, the somebody down the line understood something, but they never could shape it. And that then it start getting abused and misused for sake of some people. But if you understand the level of saints, true saints who did things and allow them to reach, not just because they did something people like, and that it just make them saints and the rest of it.
The true saints, original saints, even today, are those who live and create that condition. They are the ones who understand which strength to use and what was the strength to be there. And then you say it's a saint of a fisherman or is a saint of this, because he could transfer that energy from within to the soul of the man who fishes. This hunger to share. If you're a fisherman just to kill as much as, or you're a fisherman that saves lives and brings a balance, then you understand what even that saint is. But in overall, it's been abused beyond imagination. But in a way, that's what it is. You decide the strength of the belief, the soul, the emotion, and then you can feel anybody who feels that emotion taps into you. I have a question. I have a little bit understanding, but I want your confirmation about that. Whatever you teach today, I understand, and I have experience a little bit. So that's why I understand a little bit. Now, I'm going to say like that way, like in the park, one person is walking and anyhow, other person have a gun and he shoot the person who is walking in the park. So in this condition, in their soul, both of them agree to happen that occurrence, or like one soul has a power, more power to other. You understand, right, what I'm saying, Keshe? Yes, you see, this is not, there are different ways and different means for different reasons for that man to be there to shoot, and by accident, whatever, that person to be on the road to get shot at. Is it the soul agreed to be, or is it by coincidence of the, what you call it, presence, that one gets caught in the other? This, nobody knows how the soul have agreed. Or is one soul who has decided to just do, to be accidentally, I want to do, and I do what I want, and then we'll see. In cases of plants, which we grow and we eat ourselves from it. That condition is accepted in the structure of the soul of the plants, rice or wheat. This is what we do, we give. And then from what we give collectively, we get to higher to the soul of the man, because our soul is whatever and become part of the man, a bigger structure. But when that's a life we finish when we eat the rice, because we add the energy of the soul of that grain of rice to us. But when we go out and when we see somebody shooting another man, isn't the soul agreed? Is there been an arrangement for that soul to be at that point and place? Because the guy who got killed, maybe he wished I go out and not to come home, or I accidentally happened, or the guy who shot or made the firing gun to lead to an end. The soul was set up through this to come to another point in its structure and life. which is set up by its soul. We never know unless we become part of the structure of the world to see what the arrangement has been. It's impossible because there is so many combinations of interaction in trillions of trillions of trillions that we have not devised a system to measure all and to see what and where. Thank you.
Question. So my question is here, like when we are in that state that we can actually go past the nervous system and we can control the fields of the man with our intention, like how we can go from that point on to reach further to what was explained today. You don't need to go much further. You need to understand better. And if you get to that point, then you understand. It's very easy. You don't have no problem with it. You have to understand how to manipulate the fields of the creation and not to work with the fields of the creation. And that manipulation of the fields, the essence of emotion, is the secret of transmutation. And how you interact with the environment and how you manifest yourself within the environment. And it's not the first time. In the past, many souls have understood that. If you go back in the history of man, we have had people who could sit on the bench, be a dog in 1 second, be a man another second, become a bird the second after, and a stone, and convert back to the man. Because they understood the emotion of each animal, its condition, and they created it. And so did the physicality turned. And this is the key to it, creation of emotion. And you don't need a nervous system to handle it, because nervous system uses the emotion to create what is there. And we have done everything the wrong way. We understood the physiology of the man the wrong way. Question. Yeah, this part I am missing. I'm not sure which emotion to create for what. I'm not able to control the fields and the movements and feel them how I want. But I'm not sure what to do with that, Mr. Keshe. It's like people it's just like the emotion has a certain strength and a certain capacity at that strength. And this is what you need to understand. And then you can control. It's like an emotion of love. You love a person and you create that emotion of love. But you get lost in the emotion to the dimension of physicality. And you move, instead of love, your lover to the physical act of whatever comes next. Where you can actually don't cross that line, but strengthen the field of the emotion of loving. You can reach a higher level of joy than actual physical interaction or what comes next. But one day, on the other hand, we come here, or our soul decides to accept the dimension of the physicality, in the strength of physicality, that we enjoy the beauty of the physicality. We have subject ourselves to the emotion, up to the limit of the physicality. We have not allowed our life, our soul, our emotion to go one step after physicality. Then if you can do that, then we experience different dimension, which physicality because it's a lower strength in the package. It's irrelevant. We do that with our child. When you love your child so deeply, you hug with your wife, your partner, with the different emotion of love. And when you move with your child next to her, which created by her for both of you to enjoy. and you give a different emotion of love to this thing you created. You don't have the same feeling, emotion of physicality with your child as you have with your wife, and you don't have that with your child, with your wife. Because you have learned to create a different sense of emotion love, one for the mother and a wife, and one for a daughter or a child as a child. This is where we stop. Thank you.
We have to extend this. Can we embrace the universe the way we love our child? Then we find an answer, because we have different children, we love them different way. And how we pass that love, we strengthen it. It doesn't make any difference. My knowledge, my love to you is equal. Doesn't matter what race, religion, culture, size, shape, blind, handicap, a professor, whoever you are. And that, in exchange, changes to knowledge that you do things, and my love, my emotion, is my knowledge which I give you. How you change it, that emotion, with your physicality to create what? Some of you enjoin to help the others, and some of you create their own cancer because it shows your greed to everything else. You have put a block on the level of the fields, to the level of the matter of physicality. You have to let it go, and then you can do everything. Question: do we actually really increase the central gravitational field of the body? Or I'm missing something? Mr. Keshe? All depends on the condition of accepting the what you do and what purpose you put to it. It's like you know the people who you do what's become fashionable. In these exercises or whatever they tell you, you have to go to the point of feeling muscle pain. And that's when the actual body works. Not nearly, not necessarily. You don't need to put the body into its ultimate point of what we call the pain, or whatever, for the thing to work, that you can get benefit by it. The same is, you don't need to go to the higher extreme of fields or a strength to get something. We got to learn, and when it becomes more common understanding for ourselves, you don't need 80 seconds, you need no seconds to reach that point if you understand that you have to go lower than going higher. And this is what we have created for ourselves in the, what you call it, life of the man. Everything has to be bigger. Everything has to be more of, to be. And this is exactly where we go wrong. You have to learn to go to a lower field, to get to the higher positions, to get to the higher, to what we call it, to give, to receive. You have to empty. You have to go in a lower field strength to be able to be in a common, bigger common denominator of strength. To be in the creator doesn't come. I'm on the top and your soul is within me. We are within the soul of the Creator. He is so humble. And this is what we don't understand. Man does not. When man understands this, man has brought the change for him to become easier to reach a lot of other things. Be in transmutation, being feeding the body of the man and the rest of it. We haven't understood this, and we are always looking. It's like what we call Russian policy. The bigger buildings, everything has to be huge. Then we have something. Thank you.
The man who has a little cottage lives a simple life, understands more than the presidents living in the palace of the nations. He is more closer to himself than they are to themselves. And either way, they call it God or Creator or whatever. Try to go through reverse. Instead of 80 seconds, go for no seconds, and try to achieve instantaneous position. Then you understand. While you wait to gather it, understand this is what happens. I can do it the way I want it, the minute I want it. It's a very big difference because we have not understood the operation of the creation. That's why we make so many rules by it. And it has no rules. It's understanding. And it has no condition except giving, which is love. Question. Then you taught that at the moment when both hemispheres of the brain are synchronized, emotional trauma can be established. Can this moment, the question is, can this moment also be used again to re-traumatize so that the soul can take over and transform or elevate the emotions? And when do we know when both hemispheres of the brain are in equilibrium? Can this be trained? Mr. Keshe, yes. And in the June session, we start training that. We hopefully announce in July a session of maybe 2 a month for a short time before Iranian conference. For developing this, how to use to bring your emotion in control and the transmutation system. There's a possibility that if we succeed with Iran conference, we will show the transmutation as much as the transportation in Iran. And then we expand on the Washington conference. This is important for us to do because the transportation and transmutation becomes one. And if you learn how to transfer energies within the transmutation time, then you can manifest anytime, anywhere. And the energy spectrum of the field strength will manifest itself in a totally new dimension. The secret of creation is that field flow, which scientists have never understood. If you look at them, they show you a brain and say, oh, this spot is for emotion, this spot, my God, this spot for emotion is the essence of the creation of you. Because, as we say, you don't look at how small the pepper is, you can see how it is, how hot it is. So there are tiny spots where you connect to an emotion. They are the ones which creates dynamic flow fields. And that dynamic flow fields in the interaction with the metastate creates the physicality of the man, and then blood gives it the dimension, what we call the soul of the physicality. You have to understand the state of energy, the state of matter, the state of plasma, the state of what we call field creation, cosmic rays and cosmic fields. And once you master this, everything is easy to go from one to another. Thank you.
Hello to everyone, Andreas again. Today we go through the constitution of the Earth Council, the constitution of the blue planet Earth, and we have to go do it somehow to understand a little bit more, because Mr. Keshe spoke about it 2 knowledge seekers workshops ago. We went through the Universal Council mandate, and now we go through the Earth Council constitution, because we have to understand the totality. Constitution. The Earth Council has been created to guarantee that by giving equal rights to all beings, there shall never be another conflict or war on this planet and beyond, by any or amongst all created beings and citizens. The end of war and the establishment of peace will be achieved through the understanding of the potential of all created beings. The path forward for peace must be to bring the understanding that solutions are achieved through dialogue and elevation of the soul of the opponent, rather than through degradation or demeaning another soul or physical existence. Peace has to be the goal of every move of the existence of every being on this planet. The Council will be the flag bearer of this motion to create an environment where peace can be achieved on Earth. Peace must be the cornerstone of existence amongst those who are from this planet and or choose to live on this planet, as well as for those who are from Earth and choose to live in space. Earth has to become the cradle of peace for the evolution of all races. We, the Earth Council, acknowledge that Earth is a part of the solar system, galaxy, universe, and all the universe. As such, the planet Earth needs to become a part of the cycle of creation by supporting the planet and all the beings that live on her to elevate themselves past the current cycle of evolution to a more fulfilling and peaceful existence. We acknowledge Mother Earth as itself a living entity that has her own soul. From every atom to plants, animals, humans, insects, microbes, and more, and all those yet to be discovered, are souls which share the essence of the Creator as well as the fields of planet Earth. Together, we combine to make up the collective soul of the planet. We acknowledge all other beings on this planet need to be supported, nurtured, and allowed to thrive in peace, including animals, plants, ecosystems, and other unseen beings, as well as Mother Earth herself. All will be supported to grow and thrive, as this will in turn enhances the lives not only on this planet, but all of the totality, as we acknowledge we are part of the whole. Mutual cooperation, collaboration, sharing, and contribution to the well-being of all should be the core undertaking of the Earth Council. Our aim is to support the planet as a whole and every being that lives here. We will serve to create an environment of nurturing and harmony in which all beings may grow and thrive in their own unique way. Thank you.
Andrea again, I continue with the 6 members of the Earth Council. Each continent of Earth is represented by 1 member, those being Africa, Asia, Australia, Europe, North America, and South America. Each member represents the needs and wishes of the peoples who live on their continent, as well as the totality of beings that reside there. Selection processes. Members must have lived on at least 2 continents and speak at least 2 languages. This allows for a wider perspectives of understanding when dealing with taking the needs of all humanity into account. Clarity of souls. The 6 members of the Earth Council are here to serve from the understanding of the souls through the manifestation of physicality. The Earth Council mandate: support and serve, provide and protect, bring to our souls the understanding that the power is within us to govern oneself in interaction with other souls and create a peaceful coexistence. Our intention is to bring out the best of the best in every living soul on this blue planet we call Earth. Give our souls manifestation in physicality, the freedom to live in peace, love, and trust on this planet and in space. Our wishes are for all living beings in creation to dwell in peace, harmony, and tranquility. It is time to access and share resources in equality in a fair and just manner amongst all beings. This is the part for today, and we will continue next week. Thank you for listening.
Hey, bear with me a minute while I get back to our PDF here. Okay, our
yes.
next. Go ahead,
Yeah.
please, Mark.
Yeah, no, the transmutation preparation sessions. Again, a lot of us are wondering more and more about this transmutation. And this is an offer by the Keshe Foundation to keep the Keshe Foundation free for humanity to develop this technology without going to major corporations or others to pay scientists millions or billions of dollars to find out. By you becoming a volunteer in this process, and as we heard in the teachings that were shared in the drawings, again, we're understanding or starting to understand. These sessions have been going on probably for about 18 months or so on a regular monthly basis. Usually it's the third Friday. But you can book your virtual seat and find out more about your own creation. Most of us think, I think, that we're a man that has a soul within it. And we're starting to understand that we're actually a soul that's created a structure called the man to exist in both the matter dimension and the dimension of energy. And of course, this transmutation process seems rather otherworldly in so many ways. How could we change our shape or our dimension or our position or our color or the rest of it? But we have a beautiful and complex system that we're just being walked into in so many ways in these sessions. And of course, everyone has a slightly different experience in these sessions. But the whole idea of transmutation, which Christ showed us on the cross, which he actually didn't die on the cross, he transmuted into another man to continue his existence. I think if we were told the truth about that, mankind would have been a lot farther along in this understanding, at least in the Christian world, of this idea of transmutation, or some people have said that he's shown himself in a transfiguration and so on and so forth. But why is this important? It's important because there's no heaven and there's no hell, as we've been led to believe and abused into that understanding. By working with the fields, manipulating the fields, you're gaining an aspect of immortality. You're gaining an aspect of everlasting life where you can play one dimension off the other. In these sessions, I've been able to create places to go. I decide to go to these places. And again, we know the man exists and operates in the universe, but the universe also exists and operates within the man. So we're deciding on places to go, or creatures to be, or positions to be. And we're working in this dimension to realize that we can continue our existence. The soul has quite a bit of energy. And again, all this is rather foreign to us. And even in these sessions, some of us keep slipping back into the physicality. It's not so much a lack of knowledge, but it's a lack of trust within ourselves. And of course, we're doing it on a regular basis. You have a night dream, you have a daydream, you're already going into that dimension of energy. And for me, I can sort of create some of these places. As he said, that you decide where you'd like to go. But I haven't been able to bring the precise emotions or the strength of emotions to allow my physicality to be created in that position. So we're learning a lot step by step. It's just like reconstructive surgery. Although we're not reconstructing anything, we're actually turning on switches within ourselves that allows us to actually apply this understanding and to use it. And as Mr. Keshe said, they're going to pick a couple people to start the transmutation process, and that might be shown in Iran. I always thought there were only a couple, but as a couple people who've understood the transmutation, meaning Christ and the Buddha, where he could move himself, the Buddha, from one side of a lake to the other, manifested in the physicality. And of course, Christ showed us that as well. But what was being read in the transcript here is many people have understood this. As he said, a man could sit on a bench and then change into a dog or change into something else, then back to the man, back to the stone, and back to the man. So we have this huge capability in us. We already have this immortality. But if you want to learn how to play with it, that you can see yourself in many different positions across the universe, we invite you to participate in the transmutation preparation sessions. And again, you have to bring some funds and book your virtual seat, but it's the main reason is to keep the Keshe Foundation free from others getting in it, taking over this technology and basically hiding it or destroying it. And as I said, if they would have told us that Christ walked off the cross, and as Christ said, the things I do, you will do, and even greater. Of course, Christ was a special case, and depending on how you look at it, but we do have this ability to be able to transmute from one to the other, and this is gaining that immortality, playing off the two dimensions, one against the other. And fret not, because if you don't know how to do the transmutation, your soul will take you to a position, probably as a star, and start that process of creating a solar system. Well, first the star, and that may take millions or billions of years in the solar system. But if we understand the transmutation, as Mr. Keshe said, you don't have to die in a helicopter crash. You don't have to die being nailed on the cross. You'll be able to play in both dimensions of the energy and the physicality as you choose to do. So we encourage you all to sign up and book your virtual seat. I think the next session will be on the 21st of June. So you have enough time to prepare and get set and get your headphones and your splitters. There's a lot of things going on in these sessions. But this is what's, we're actually being given the keys to the kingdom, if you want to call it a kingdom, or the keys to existence in the universe. And it's a slow process, but it's a beautiful process, really uncovering the truth about ourselves and the reality about our creation. Thank you. If anyone would like to add anything that's either been in these sessions or connected remotely with your soul to these sessions, please feel free to share. We've had sessions on giving food to others or to the system. We've had sessions on receiving or being fed from the system. We see some of the results in Gaza. We've elevated the soul of prophets. We've dealt with addiction. We've dealt with abusers. We've dealt with world leaders in so many ways, and elevating their souls as well. So there's many things. The instructions are usually brief. And as Mr. Keshe said, we create the airport and the runway. It's for you to bring the plane and to bring the pilot, which is you, to understand what beauty that you're actually sitting on or actually have within your own hand. Anyone else? Otherwise, we'll move to the next slide.
Yes, Mark. Mark, can I say a little?
Oh, you don't need
Hello?
permission. Yes, you don't need permission.
Oh.
Thank you, Shweta.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you so much. I want to add a little story, very quick. I will do. As you said, Mark, that we can prepare the runway, we can prepare everything, but the pilot is you. You have to came down with the plane by yourself and land the plane, you know. And here is one story from India. I will say how we don't trust sometimes, as we are sitting in the transmutation session, transmuting kind of that. But uh, our beautiful teacher Moshvik always said that you don't trust the soul. There is a story that you have to trust with the inner ability of yours, the soul. And here is the story. There was a Brahmin. Brahmin means a person who worships in the temple daily, 2 times a day here in India. And we call here now them Pandits, and they offer flowers and many fruits to the in the temple to the Bhagavan, the deity. And what does Brahmins do? There was a temple in the village where he lives of Lord Shiva. Shiva in India means actually the soul, the ultimate, the beautiful soul. And there was an idol of Shiva always there in temples in India. He used to worship daily 2 times, and he was respected because he do this, and he was so much indulged in this worship that he just rely on Lord Shiva for everything. He was a good. His family was in not very good, but in a good position. He was gaining money also because of the worship. People do their gifts and donations to the mandira, the temple. And this was going on. One day, what happened is that there was a river by the side of the village, and a flood came because of heavy rain. A flood came. I mean, very huge, very vastly. These water floods the village, and everything was like underwater. The Pandit's house also, the Brahmin's house. What he has done is, the Brahmin, first of all, when he left his family and he ran to the temple, and in the temple he just closed the doors and he thought will become safe. But the flood water was only coming up, and making these huge waves, and the door of the temple was broken, and the water was inside the temple. And the Brahmin, what he did, he jumped into the terrace of the temple, the top of the temple, and he hold the flag, the stand of the flag, and he just tightened himself around the flag. But the water was still, it's raging heavily. And what happened is, there after some time, because he was on the top of the temple, the swimmers came from the rescue team. The swimmers came, and they called him, come down, come to this place so that we can rescue you and we can swim you out. But he didn't believe them. He even not an inch he moved. Then after that, a boat came with several rescuers and calling the Pandit that please come down and we will rescue you. We will not even not a scratch on your body. We will rescue you like this. But the Pandit, the Brahmin didn't came. Then after that, a helicopter also came, whirling around the temple and asking in the uh, loudspeaker that please hold this ladder, which was they were giving to the Brahmin, but he refused that, and the helicopter then gone. And after some time, the whole temple was emerged in the flood water, and the Brahmin dies. And after that, the Brahmins goes to that abode of Shiva, or we can say the soul. Shiva was sitting there, and the Brahmin asked, I worshipped you the whole time, the whole of my life. Why didn't you rescue me? So the Shiva laughed and said that I have sent you helicopter, I have sent you boat, I have sent you swimmers. Why didn't you trust in them? So the main thing is that what you understand is your inner ability to understand, to create the balance. Otherwise, even if you are in the transmuting session, and even you are with the enhancement unit, if you are not receiving or coming in balance to understand, even it doesn't work, and you will blame Lord Shiva and the enhancement unit and everything. So I will say, dear beautiful souls, understand even your inner ability. It will help you transmuting, transforming like a butterfly. So thank you, Mark. I will say, trust in your soul. In this physicality, it manifests like this, you know. So here is a simple story, and Lord Shiva is the ultimate soul. So thank you. Understand your inner ability. It is you that is the plane to land or to take off. And then everything works in balance and harmony. And this is what we need in these, what I can say. If we say inner ability, then we say beautiful time. And well, yes, of course, the chaos. Thank you. Thank you so much. Salam.
Thank you, Sweta.
Hello. Good afternoon, everybody. It's Mehnaz, UC Farsi language. Nice to be back again. I was traveling. Thank you, everybody, for what you put out. For what my dear Shweta said, it showed that the religious person believed in the intermediary of his soul. He took Shiva as intermediary with his creator or with his soul. So we imagine the result and this, we lose if we trust the intermediaries rather than our own soul or energy center. I think. Thank you.
Thank you, Mehran.
You're welcome.
Now we can move to the next presentation.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
Shweta, do you want to say something?
No, I welcomed you.
Oh, okay. So, yeah. So we'll let the Brahmin priest sort out his dilemma with his soul, and let us sort out our own dilemma of finding the plane and the pilot that Mark was referring to. So I'm Mosfeg, representing Bengali language as Universal Council board member. As usual, we will talk a little bit about the exploration of transmutation. This teaching, the transmutation teaching has been going on for a while, and I will start with something that Mr. Keshe used to talk about quite some time back. He used to talk about some videos that are available on YouTube and other social media. Is where people, these are recordings from cameras in public places, and people would appear out of nowhere, jump. Usually it would be something like they would come from a height and land, jump out of nowhere. And they'll be dressed like a normal person, and then they'll still start walking like a normal person. So where did they appear from? And this is an example of transmutation. And who are these people? Well, we don't know. Now, these examples have been discussed quite a bit, and so let's look at these situations a little bit and try to relate. This is an example. So what we might conceivably do in a short time. And so these people, you would see somebody just arriving, jumping from something above and landing on the ground. It's just a short jump. So there might be a spaceship shielded. Then I mean, they would open the hatch or some sort of arrangement like that, and there would be just this human being in there and would come out. That's one possibility. Of course, they can, if they are a little more advanced, they might be able to, they might have the ability to go through this shielded spaceship and, come down with some arrangement of adjustment of fields so that they can go through the shielding. That's a possibility, assuming that they are already in the human form. On the other hand, the inside of the spaceship might be quite different. It might have beings who look different, are visiting this planet from another location. In that case, well, they definitely need to transmute. And so they transmute from whatever shape or clothing that they had or not have. And, show up in suits and, a suit and tie and all that. Shoes, suit and tie. So they know how to transmute after their arrival here. So they came by spaceship and then transmute. Of course, there is the other possibility where they're even more capable and they came as a spaceship themselves and transmuted here. There was no vehicle as such, but they created their own field and came here and then transmuted to a physical shape to do whatever they need to do in this physical planet of ours. So these are a number of, I mean, we can go into more scenarios, but basically, as Mr. Keshe talks about, we can transmute and transport, or we can transport and transmute. If we are to go to a place where the environment is not similar to what we are used to. So let's take that idea into our physical situation, current physical situation as we exist. Generally, because of the food we consume, the environments we are exposed to, the stress we are subjected to, etc., we have some ailments, one way or another. Some of it is kind of inherited from maybe some ancestral emotions. Nevertheless, there are some anomalies physically here and there. Some may be very minor, but nevertheless, it's there. So we are in this current position in space, but we want to transmute to a healthy condition. Where we are not subjected to the environmental stresses and the food, the toxin or whatever is in there in the food these days and other things. So this is also another way of thinking about transmutation, but it's a much smaller problem, so a little smaller task. We learn to not, let's say, consume these kind of material, and instead of consuming the material and then transmuting it to energy, we get the transmuted energy directly into us. And in that case, we are getting whatever we need. No toxin, because at the field level, we can choose what we need to ingest. So that's one possibility, and that can at least mitigate the problem that we have in the health situation. Another possibility is to reconstruct ourselves. The interesting thing is that the soul of man, when it arrived on this planet, in its interaction with the environment, call it mother's womb or the planet's planetary womb, the soul of physicality was created, and which eventually manifested the physicality. But it was as a result of the interaction between the field of the planet and the soul of man. So the creator in this case is the soul of man. And guess what? We don't even know who the creator is for most of us. The existence of his soul is almost, in many cases, unknown. So before we even think about making emotional connection, we need to be able to come to terms with this fact that there is this soul of man that we have to connect to. We're getting to the pilot. The pilot is taking shape. So this is the first part. Yeah, we in Keshe Foundation and as knowledge seekers, we are familiar with this. But we have to think, and as we interact with other people around us, whether in health, in feeding, or transmutation, which is a bigger task, of course, we have to be able to talk in simpler terms, in terms of that there is a soul, which is the source or the creator of the soul of physicality. And so now that we know that the soul of physicality, because of the environmental condition, has altered some of its energy structures, the soul of man, however, knows exactly what was the original design. So if the soul of man can create that, man has the ability to create that field. And there is a field differential between the existing soul of physicality and the soul of physicality that is the pristine one. We can send that energy to transform the current soul of physicality. And so this is a tricky situation. The soul of physicality, as it's often termed, the ego, is in control or in charge. You know, try removing the head of the state of whatever country. They're not going to quit very easily. So it's the same situation with this soul of physicality. And it has been trained, it has been indoctrinated, conditioned, and whatever else, brainwashed and everything, to be identified as the one in charge. So yes, yes, even after acknowledging that there is this soul of man there, does the soul of physicality recognize whatever the ability of the soul of man? And being attached to physicality, it is very, what do you call it, hard-headed. So, how do we go about dealing? We can create demonstration. One of them we have done with the enhancement unit, which is, we all know that at one point we experienced the sensation of not feeling the hunger. But yes, that was possible, and many of us experienced it. But when we came back home, we often fail to reproduce this situation of not feeling the hunger. So here is an opportunity with a small task, not easy, creating non-hunger state by transferring certain energy from the soul of man to the soul of physicality. It's a little demonstration that yes, we have some little bit faith in our creator, the soul of man, to deal with this energy condition or energy transfer ability. Well, is the soul of physicality convinced? From my experience, it's not that easily convinced. I mean, at least mine. I mean, I don't know about other people's, but yes, it is possible to stop the sensation of hunger. And this has been my experience. Anytime. It doesn't take any time at all. It's just instantaneous. 0 time. Really, it's very, sometimes I've noticed sometimes that, especially when I'm not in a particularly good mood, I sometimes get this sort of like some dialogue coming from somewhere that, yeah, you need to, you're feeling a little hungry. But then once I kind of like noticed that, I said, no, I can't be that hungry because I can't do the energy transfer. And it goes away immediately. But from, it happens once in a while still. But so there is this doubt, or the conditioning still creeps in a little bit here and there. So but it is possible to handle the hunger situation completely. So, but still, the soul of physicality is not convinced very much, because there are other things. Transmutation. Yes, I have done small transmutation in various physical conditions, and one of them, interestingly, is a condition that I know has existed from the beginning. Beginning means as far as I can remember, I had this situation, and it has reversed. So the long-term condition can be reversed, physical condition. So the soul of physicality is getting convinced, little by little, that yes, things are possible. Some things I'm not able to yet, but some things are. And there is one factor that I have identified, which is my educational experience in this process, is that it seems that people around me has certain expectation. The parts that I'm less able to handle, or not as successful in handling the physical changes, are the parts that are more visible. Although that's changing too, I think, but it seems that the collective conditioning here, collective soul of physicality conditioning, plays a role on us of preventing, or sort of like putting pressure on the soul of physicality to revert back to its original I'm the lost state. And it is not as easily convinced to give up its position of authority. So this is one thing that's very noticeable. So so this is one area I need to pay attention, and I have, so to a degree, but it needs work, and clearly. So this is very, very much, I'm just giving you sort of like a work in progress on my experience here. And then of course, the transmutation part. I talked earlier that my transmutation experiment is very, very simple. It's from one place nearby where I can walk to, and just go there. And so I have talked about this in the previous presentation about how, when I was connected to the transmutation unit, it was somebody in the group who was creating a condition of physicality pressure. Here I'm saying a group condition here, much like what we have in normal life situation. You have friends, family, and whoever else. They exert a pressure, feel pressure on the soul of physicality. It was noticeable when I was trying to transmute. But even when I disconnected and I tried to transmute, same thing, I saw that my soul was viewing the location, but the physicality was saying, no, I can't go. So here is one element, one interesting element. So essentially, the soul of physicality needs to learn humility, enough of it to relinquish control. And this one is interesting because although I have done the food part and some other transmutation, local transmutation part on the body in my universe, in my universe, my physical universe, my body, it is still not convinced that soul is capable. So that the relationship between the soul of man and the soul of physicality has to improve. The soul of physicality needs to appreciate or understand the capacity. The soul of physicality being connected, soul of man being connected to the soul of the creator is much more humble and doesn't enforce anything. But that is not true for the soul of physicality. So here, some field transfer of humility is necessary, which I'm doing, and it takes some level, some effort, but it's not impossible. Things are improving, clearly improving, and since my last attempt of transmutation, the relationship, the soul of physicality becoming humble and having an appreciation of a loving relationship. The love, again, it comes up of a love for the soul of man, the creator. So a faith in its creator. Not the creator, but in its creator, which is the soul of man. So this is something that we need to work on. At least that's how I'm finding it to be. And some people here may have much more advanced understanding than I do, but this is my experience, specifically in observing the relationship, the emotions involved, how one emotion transitions to how emotions from the soul of man side transitions and get dominated by the emotions that are generated by the soul of physicality. All of these things are very noticeable, and one can observe and then one can take action. It's almost like, it's the same thing I have noticed, because nowadays in dreams, I do have conscious control over the dream, which is, some people call it lucid dreaming, but it's the same thing. I think the dream at night is the same thing as what we are doing in the daytime. I don't know which one is dream and which one is not now. But, there we have conscious control over the dream, and I can change dream easily now. Not always, but but more or less. So it's the same thing. It's not quite there yet, but but more or less happening here. But the transmutation requires all this, a little more faith, a little more humility, and it doesn't have to be like complete giving up. So the pilot has been identified. Some conversation is going on with the pilot for the passenger to get its fear under control. So that's going on, and in terms of faith, the pilot may be capable. That's what this soul of physicality is kind of thinking now, but it's not convinced completely yet, but it's getting there. So there is hope, but it's fun in a way. I'm actually, the way I'm speaking is the way I'm kind of looking at it as well. It doesn't agonize me or anything. It's just kind of like a playful, fun kind of way of looking at it. It makes it very, it makes it like a fun experiment, you know. It's like playing a game. It's not a video game, but it's another game. But in any case, so another aspect that is important is that the humbleness of the creator. And I'm talking about the creator and the soul of man. So the common line, the common field, the neutron field or the hydrogen field, is the common line that pervades the whole creation. Whether it's an atom or soul or sun, it doesn't matter. So this common line is there as a reference field, is the lowest common denominator field, whether we are in this universe or in another universe. Although the neutron field or the hydrogen field is little different in other universes, but in any case, it is the field that connects us to the creator. And the soul of man can use this reference as a guide to bring humility in the soul of physicality. And the physicality comes with it. I mean, really not much to that other part. Because the physicality change can be done, and I'm doing it, so I know that it's possible. But still, you know, I have treated other people as well as for various health conditions. So, you know, with all these kind of things that little experiments I've done, the soul of physicality is not giving up control. It is very interesting how much it is conditioned, and strange notions have been implanted in there, whether it's through emotions over generations, or, you know, like going to school or living in this society. Actually, all of them. I mean, from time to time, I can identify the emotions. And some of these are, you know, I can even relate to my grandmother who used to live with us, and some things that I notice in me while doing this kind of experiment. So it's fascinating that so many garbage has to be cleaned up. It's not, you know, it's not a bad thing, because in physical life, if we don't clean up garbage, it piles up anyway. So, and it's kind of like that situation. We haven't cleaned up our soul of physicality. Consequently, we have lots of diseases. So anyway, so it's this kind of easy way. I wouldn't call it hard. I mean, from some perspective, it may look hard, but if it's done playfully, I think it's fun. So it's not that difficult in a way, but, you know, people may say, you know, especially, I mean, if you talk to some of these yogi school and whatever, you know, people who get supposed to get trained in these areas, there are actually people. And it's possible, and I know this for sure because I have some experience in this area, but things are possible. Transmutation definitely is possible. And in any case, even, you know, even knowing this, and, you know, even being exposed to Keshe Foundation knowledge and everything else, it still takes a bit of effort. But, you know, it's not difficult. We can make it fun and easy, and that way. And it is working. So yes, I haven't completely transmuted myself, but parts of my body, yes, definitely. Hunger, yes, it is possible. And it's some things I intentionally don't want to do. Like, it's, you can do it up to a point, but I have to live in a society. I have people around me. So yeah, I do eat some, but very controlled and very limited. And nobody would survive the amount I eat. So, I mean, but so anyway, in this, it is possible. But the thing is that soul of physicality is getting a training. How long, how far? Well, time will tell, but I'm sure we can all get there. So anyway, that's been part of my experience, and I think it's a fun experience too, and hopefully it gives people some inspiration and some pointers, some hints, and some ways of exploring this wonderful world of transmutation. Thank you very much.
Hello.
Thank you, my dear Moshe.
Can I have some question, Moshe, from your experience? So I would like to ask.
Yes. Sorry, I couldn't guide.
Yeah, you just transmute your soul to move the body and this soul of the body. And
I'm not sure. I'm not understanding you. Can you be a little clearer? I mean, I'm not following you.
When you transmute, you do it by your soul.
Yes. Yes.
And the soul goes somewhere else and takes the body with itself?
No, that part is still it's still not completely working. I can go to different places at the soul level. I haven't been able to take the body with me, but I can change. I can travel within my body and change parts of my body.
What kind
I
of?
have been able to change certain things in my body, definitely, and these are actually clear, and it can be done. And some of these, I'm not going to talk too much about it, but some of this is like, in medical science, it's impossible.
Is it kind of like what Mr. Keshe does in Fridays?
Well, Friday, what you have on Fridays is you connect to the enhancement unit. The enhancement unit provides the field, which we don't have to access directly, but you can access the field directly, the cosmic rays directly, or the carbon-14 field directly. You don't have to go through the enhancement unit, and mostly I do it on my own because I'm certain that I can connect to it, but because I have results, so I know it works. And you can convert, let's say, one of the examples that I have talked about earlier, but I will repeat it for you, is that I had a burn while I was cooking something, although I don't eat very much, but I sometimes cook still. So I burned my skin, a piece of my skin on my thumb. Usually, I used to use GAN to get it sorted. But this time I just said, no, I'm not going to use the GANs, because GANs just is providing the extra energies and the fields to heal the burned skin. So I just did it with my soul. It took a minute or so for me to focus at that time, about a minute, and then all the sensation, the burn sensation went up and nothing happened. And just like within 2 minutes, I was sure that nothing is happening, everything has been taken care of. And I thought that was, I mean, that was some time back. So it was, I think that was a slow process. Things can be a lot faster than that. So 0 time is, yes, really true. And so this is an example, but other things I have done things bigger than that also, but it's possible. So you can actually change, the way I consider the body to be is just another universe. Here we are, we can, the soul can travel this universe and, do things there. And it's related to the soul of physicality. So it can change the energy and the physicality, any part of the body. Yes, yeah, I have been able to do it, but there are some things I haven't been able to do it too. So that's also true. So it's still not 100%, but a lot can be done. A lot I have done, a lot more can I have to do. So this is the situation. So this is the transmutation of parts of my body, not the whole thing. So in that, and that's by transferring energy from the soul to the soul of physicality of the body.
Thank you. What part of it is amusing? What do you think it's the gain out of it? What do you? What's the gain out of it?
I don't need GANs. I don't need GANs to do anything now.
No, I said, what's the gain from it? What's the joy from it? Do you feel something?
I don't need medicine. I don't need GANs. I don't need anything. It's fun.
It's fun. So you think it's fun?
Yeah,
okay.
It's fun, and it's fun, and it's doable, and it's not something I mean, I am not a, I like it. I mean, theory is important and one has to know the theory, but to start. So, it's kind of like you have to know that there is a medical college where you can study medicine and then become a doctor. Same thing. You have to know the theory. But, if I can't become a doctor, then if the medical college is there or not, it doesn't matter.
Yes.
So to me, the theory is of no value until I can use it. So Keshe Foundation has a lot of knowledge. It's well and good, but until I can do it, it's just another story.
Thank you very much.
Yes, I mean, that's how I think about things. Most people talk about a lot of things, but can I do it? The GANs is, nano-material, GANs, maggrav, whatever else we did early on. These are all kind of to get confidence in the science. And now, now we do have other areas we can explore. So it's not like something that, it's a nice book that's on the shelf, or it's a nice set of videos that's on YouTube. Who cares if I can't use it? Or if others can use it. And I have taught other people who are using it too. So it works.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, Mehran, my dear. Beautiful questions. Thank you, Moshfik, always. All the love. Thank you. Now, well, transmute yourself, my dear beautiful souls. Get off from the fear. Thank you. Salam, namaste. Now we can go to the next presentation. Here again, bring the needs and wishes from your community to the Universal Council as one planet, one nation, one race for justice and world peace. And peaceful souls, dear, welcome. Any question as we are all learning? Any sharing? You are most welcome.
Yes, I have a wish in the old manner of making wishes. So can I say that? My wish? Okay, so
of course, you don't have to
ask. I give from my soul that the peace prevails on the planet Earth.
We are present, my dear. Beautiful.
Thanks.
My dear Rick, any question or sharing from somebody or beautiful soul?
All's quiet on the YouTube fronts, and I don't see anything in particular in our chat here or Q&A, so I think we're clear, other than there's an image that Dean wanted to share, but perhaps Andreas, would you like to go ahead first?
Yes. On the next foil comes a wish. I saw it in the internet randomly. It was about Papua New Guinea, and where a earth slide happened and maybe 2,000 people are under the earth. And I felt myself connected to it. And that's why I brought it in the Universal Council, because I know when we all focus our energy on that, then we can help much more if I do it only alone. And then came to my mind, I see so many things not out there which are happening, and we could help so much more on the energy level. And so it would be great if all knowledge seekers, if you have anything where you feel yourself connected to, where you think where there is help needed, write it in your Keshe knowledge team groups or to your Universal Council members, and so they can bring it in the show and we can then help much more.
Yes.
And
thank you. Yes.
here our wish for
Yes.
Papua New Guinea. We, the Universal Council, give freely from our soul to all souls in Papua New Guinea to overcome and recover from the earth slide. Take all what you need.
Present.
We are present. Yes, Claudia. Claudia, you want to say by yourself, my dear?
Yes, I wish I
Oh,
wish
yes.
peace for the Brazilian people that lost everything last weeks because of the rain, and much more than 600 people are without their homes and everything. They lost everything. So I wish peace for them. Thank you.
We are present in your wish, my dear.
Present.
Rick, if there is, for now, no more sharing, then we can go forward to the next presentation. If there is.
We still have Dean to give a presentation here, I think, and then need some wishes. Dean, are you there? I see your microphone's open, but I'm not hearing you. Hello, Dean? You don't have your microphone connected, Dean, because it shows open, but we're not hearing any sound. Well, I guess we'll pass on that till Dean, unless Dean can get his microphone hooked up there. Oh, he's trying to see the mic's turned off. No sound, Dean. From Mark, yeah. Well, perhaps we should carry on here then.
Yes. Then here we are. We are here to serve, not to be served, dear beautiful souls. And I will say, thank you for being here always, always. Beautiful souls, taken with you the love we all need this time. And yes, I will welcome you always. Suswagatam to the beautiful energy of Keshe Foundation, beauty and totality of Keshe Foundation Institute organization. Welcome to the beauty and totality of all souls, universal. Welcome to the beautiful energy of love, all that is. Thank you. Follow, join, jump in, merge, hug, love Keshe Foundation. And we know we love each other so much. Thank you for being here. And again, I will say salam, namaste, salute, dear beautiful souls, beautiful, beautiful souls. Welcome. Thank you so much. Salam, namaste, salute. As lead the sage, we are soul of peace. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, Sweta. And of course, thanks to all the members of the Universal Council and support members who are here today to present this workshop, this lovely workshop. And thank you for everybody attending and for your participation in this workshop. It's been the 328th One Planet, One Nation, One Race for Justice and World Peace here on Tuesday, May 28th, 2024. Thanks to Jedi Simon for our background image today. And you see our next public teaching workshop will be the Keshe Plasma Reactor Group, which starts at 7 a.m. tomorrow, Wednesday, May 29th, 2024. And that's open to members of the public, young and old, who would like to understand more of the plasma technology, or if you have something to present, that would be wonderful. We love to see experiments and the practical use of the plasma technology in that session. And that's been ongoing for over 10 years, so you're welcome to attend. All right, I think that's it. Well, we have the Knowledge Seekers Workshop coming up on Thursday. As far as we know, it'll start at the 9 a.m. Central European time. And that's on May 30th. And that starts again at the 9 a.m. Central European time, so far as we know. Okay, well, Shweta, you know what this means.
Welcome to the arena of dance.
It's time to get our last screen up here.
Thank you. Be enjoy, beautiful souls.
And with some joy, indeed. Okay, again, thank you everybody for being here, and to the members of the Universal Council for always being there for everyone, for all beings everywhere. All right, bye for now, everyone.